Pada setiap tahun, sambutan Hari Guru akan disambut dengan penuh meriah.
Hari Guru disambut bagi mengenang jasa budi mereka.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And greetings to all lovely teachers and students.
Saya Muhammad Zulfika dari kelas 4 USM.
Dan saya Elisha Hana dari kelas 5 USM.
Kami sebagai kru TV PSS bersempena sambutan Hari Guru, kami akan menemuramah guru-guru dan murid-murid. Let's go. Sila perkenalkan diri anda.
Selamat sejahtera, saya Batisha Nonika daripada kelas 3 UKM.
Saya Nurbaki Batisha dari kelas 3 UM.
Nama saya Nur Syahidah binti Muhammad Nazri dari kelas 3 UPM.
Saya Nasya Izim dari kelas 3 UM.
Okay. Soalan pertama daripada saya, apakah guru kegemaran anda?
Cikgu Serana PKM Koko Petang.
Orang ni tak ada lagi sebab semua cikgu best.
Cikgu Nasha.
Guru kegemaran saya, cikgu PM saya, cikgu Combi.
Okey, soalan yang kedua. Apakah memori yang indah pernah anda lalui bersama guru anda?
Guru Cikgu Serana mengajar dengan penuh ikhlas dan kasih sayang.
Of course lah, belajar dengan cikgu pun jadi memori terindah kan. Semualah, tak ada nak pilih.
Cikgu Nasha ni dia orang yang macam sentiasa mengambil berat tentang pelajar dia. Dia selalu ikut saya untuk dengar saya punya masalah dan luahan hati.
Ketika dia mengajar saya, dia selalu menasihati saya dan sentiasa memberitahu saya tentang kesalahan saya.
Okey, bagus. Dan soalan yang terakhir, apakah ucapan anda kepada guru-guru yang pernah mengajar anda?
Selamat Hari Guru dan terima kasih kerana memberi didikan dan penuh kasih sayang. Dan saya sayang cikgu.
Selamat Hari Guru cikgu. Terima kasih kerana mendidik saya dari tingkatan 1 sampai tingkatan 3. Jasa cikgu takkan saya lupa.
Terima kasih kepada semua guru SMK BBSP dan selamat Hari Guru.
Terima kasih kepada semua guru yang pernah mengajar saya. Sentiasa berbahagia ke anak cucu. Selamat Hari Guru cikgu.
Terima kasih atas jawapan anda. Assalamualaikum cikgu, apa khabar?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Alhamdulillah sihat saya. Awak apa khabar pula?
Alhamdulillah saya juga sihat. Cikgu sila memperkenalkan diri cikgu.
Nama cikgu Abdul Rauf bin Muhammad Dahlan, boleh panggil Cikgu Rauf. Dan saya mengajar saya merupakan guru bahasa Melayu di sini iaitu di SMK Bandar Baru Sungai Buloh.
Alhamdulillah. Soalan yang pertama yang ingin saya tujukan kepada cikgu ialah apakah motivasi cikgu dalam meneruskan kerjaya dalam bidang perguruan?
Antara perkara yang memotivasikan diri saya untuk meneruskan kerjaya sebagai seorang guru dalam bidang perguruan ini ialah sebenarnya saya begitu rindu akan alam persekolahan. Kerana alam persekolahan merupakan alam yang paling menyeronokkan bagi setiap orang, tak kira sesiapa pun. Oleh itu, walaupun saya tidak lagi bergelar pelajar, saya bergelar guru, saya ceburkan diri dalam bidang persekolahan. Di situ saya akan dapat merasakan lagi kemesraan anak murid dengan guru, guru dan anak murid, kenakalan anak-anak, keriangan mereka semua ya. Jadi itu menjadikan diri saya terus bermotivasi untuk meneruskan bidang perguruan ini sampai ke akhir hayat saya.
Baik, soalan seterusnya, apakah ucapan cikgu kepada cikgu-cikgu yang baru sahaja meneruskan melibatkan diri mereka dalam bidang perguruan ini?
Baiklah ya, nasihat ini sebenarnya bukan untuk mereka sahaja ya, tetapi untuk diri saya yang masih lagi berkecimpung dalam bidang ini. Memang bidang perguruan ini merupakan satu bidang yang sangat-sangat mencabar dan amat-amat getir ya untuk dilalui. Namun demi menegakkan negara bangsa yang bermartabat dan berdaulat, kita perlu pupuk rakyat dari bawah ini dengan pendidikan. Jika bukan kita, siapakah lagi yang untuk menjadikan rakyat kita ini berpendidikan dan seterusnya meneraju negara pada masa depan.
Terima kasih atas jawapan yang penuh makna daripada cikgu.
A very good morning to you, teacher. So would you like to introduce yourself very shortly?
Okay, I'm Puan Ali. I've been teaching in the school for the past 25 years. And there's another 22 more years for me to retire.
Oh.
All right, okay, so I'm quite happy teaching in this school.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so maybe moving on to our first question. So, what is something that motivates you to continue teaching?
Well, okay, firstly, I like to say that the students are my big motivators. They really give me when I look at them, I feel that I have to impart knowledge, all right? Whatever that I know, whatever I've prepared. So every time I see them, I'm like so enthusiastic to go and teach. And then there's so much of, they are my biggest motivators.
That was very sweet. So the second question, which is our last question, do you have any advice for the new teachers that are just starting to teach new students?
All right, okay, for the new teachers, the first thing is never give up very easily, because these students are when you look at the students, sometimes they tend to give you a lot of problems. All right, they will have discipline problems, okay, and you'll have other problems, their personal problems as well. So they bring to school, and then sometimes you can see them behaving very badly. Never give up. So we'll try to, because teachers are actually basically they are counselors, disciplinary teachers, and also they are also class teachers, subject teachers. So they actually have to juggle everything. So I feel they should actually look into every aspect of the students. Never give up easily. And then secondly, they should also go for other personal kind of training, or certain things like like professional developments and everything, so that they will better themselves in order to face the challenges in school.
That was very informative and very inspiring, actually. So thank you for taking your time for this interview. Good evening to Dr. Tusha, who I will be interviewing today. Could you please briefly introduce yourself to us?
Hi Alicia, my name is Dr. Tusha, as you already know, and I have been in this school for more than 5 years, but I have been teaching for more than 28 years now, so that's a very long time. I started out in primary school, and I moved on to secondary school after I have completed my degree, and also between that I was a teacher trainer at English Language Teaching Center. Because of my love for teaching, I decided to go back to teaching again. So I went back to SMK Bukit Rahman Putra, and then after that I went to pursue my PhD studies, and I was transferred back to SMK Taman Selayang, and here I am now after that reposting to SMK Bandar Baru Sungai Buloh.
So for my first question is, what is your motivation to keep teaching, and what makes you keep going in that specific career path?
I think one of my motivation, or the main reason I became a teacher, was because I love to teach. I love to be with students and impart my knowledge, whatever I have learned or whatever I have experienced through the years with them. And I also want to have a positive and inspiring impact on them. And basically, I want them all to become a better human being. And to do that, I know that I have to be with them, and that is what motivated me to teach, actually. And the other reason is because I love English. I have always loved English, anything, okay, I have always loved the language. And this was there since I was already in the school drama team when I was young, in the school choir team. It was all English based, when I was in school, whatever activities that I took part in. So basically it has it actually molded me into who I am today. I studied in a convent, and I went back to teach in the same convent, and so I think that really inspired me to become a teacher. And I was also inspired by my own English language teachers in the 80s when I was studying. So these are some of the reasons, and as I told you before, I love the language, and I think I can impart whatever that I have learned to my students, and I hope they become proficient in the language. Coming to this school, it also gave me a culture shock because some of the students are not proficient in the language, but as a teacher, I try my best. My students, when you teach them, you have to look at them, and then you have to actually ask, sometimes you have to reflect upon yourself. Where did I go wrong? Is my teaching effective? Are my strategies effective? And along the way, you will become a better teacher. So you must always, as a teacher, you must always ask yourself, what can I do to improve myself? What can I do to improve that particular student's performance in that subject? In that way, you better yourself, and your students become more proficient in the language. Yes.
Wow, I feel like that also answered our second question. So the second question and our final question, this is a very short interview actually. What advice would you give to the teachers specifically newer teachers who are just starting to teach students?
You have to be the best version of yourself. For the young teachers out there, you need not have to compare yourself with other teachers. You can take them as your role model. You learn from them, but at the same time, you be the best version of yourself. And don't take up teaching because you didn't have another job. It is not, teaching has to be a calling, it has to be a vocation. You have to be passionate about teaching, then you would become a good teacher. And through the years, based on my own experience, you will come up, there will be many types of students, but you as a teacher, you must know how to handle it. Whatever difficult situation you are thrown into, you must know how to handle it. And also, you need to learn to empathize with your students. You should not be very quick to judge them. And you have to be fair to all students. That is very important. You need to be fair to all students, whether they come from the front classes, or they come from the back classes, because they are students. They will be, they might pose a lot of challenges for you, but you as a teacher, you need to know how to handle them. So you shouldn't give up. You shouldn't, your first year of teaching, why it is so difficult, why am I, why am I being thrown all these tasks? But, as a teacher, you need to ask yourself, what can I do to better myself, and what can I do to improve my students' lives, in terms of their proficiency. Some of them, they come into the classroom with their own problems. So you shouldn't judge them. You should always empathize with them, and that is a very important quality for a teacher. And another thing is, you must always, you must always try to improve yourself, meaning that you must always try to upgrade yourself professionally. Take up masters, and if you can, you take up the PhD, because in that way your knowledge will expand, and when the student sees you, he or she will be inspired. And that is what I believe, we need to inspire our students, because especially they come from many types of all types of backgrounds, and our area, from Bandar Baru, Sungai Buloh, not all of them have not all their parents are professionals. So we need to empower them. We need to pull them out from the poverty cycle, and that is how they can go back and improve their family, and that's what I strongly believe in. Thank you.
Sekian, terima kasih.
Dan kami dari kru TVPSS ingin mengucapkan
Selamat Hari Guru. Bye.